So, what are we gonna do tonight, O.C.G?
Why, same thing we try to do every night, Bertrum. Take over the world. I mean, Twitch. Take over Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, joined once again by my faithful manservant / factotum Butler. And this is my review for SAKURA WARS. Now, dear viewer, SAKURA WARS was released in 2019. A pretty bad year, all things considered. 2020 was, better. Yes. Now, apparently, SAKURA WARS is a reboot. But since only one of the other SAKURA games have been released in the West, I can't really comment on how this game differs from the older games. But sure as the sun will rise, I am going to give it a good try. The older games are garbage. Yes, even though I have never played them. Why? Well, because I said so, that's why. And last I checked, this was my channel. If I want to declare that Resident Evil 6 is the best Resident Evil game, then I can. It's true, by the way. Resident Evil 6 is indeed the best one. Moving on, before I get lynched. So, what is SAKURA WARS? Well, I'm so glad you asked, dear viewer. All things considered, this is really a JRPG. More on that later. And like all the best JRPGs, this game begins with a close-up of a woman's breasts. I chest. It actually begins with an anime-style sequence underscored by a catchy pop song. You know, I really wish I could sing some of it for your pleasure, but the lyrics were sadly in a language that most certainly was not British. And thus begins our story. We play as, male. You know, I really should write down the names of the protagonists in these games, even if I do struggle to pronounce them. I'll just blame Drink. Yes, I can't pronounce the non-British names because of Drink. Yes, that works for me. Anyway, we play as male, a military veteran who is made captain of, I want to say a military academy, but it's really a theatre, where an all-female theatre group performs plays, etc., when they are not defending Tokyo against demons. So essentially, actors you really shouldn't criticize because they will kick your backside. Ooh, and when they fight, they do so in, I want to say, mechs? Gundams? Pacific Rims? Zone of the Enders type things? Yes. Moving on. The cast being mostly made up of young girls, there are a whole manner of whiny, squeaky voices. I found them so irritating at the start of the game that for the sake of my sanity, I had to mute the voices. Now, you might think me ignorant. Well, in this game's case, ignorance is bliss. I jest. Though it was tempting to mute it during certain, shall we call them, intimate scenes. Oh, speaking of, now dear viewer, I went into this game expecting a JRPG, but instead I was confronted with a dating sim / visual novel. Now I do enjoy a good visual novel, provided the story is great, but the words dating and sim fill me with horror. In a nutshell, this basically means the main crux of Sakura Wars is to bond with / seduce / impregnate / not really impregnate / well, I don't know what happens after the game ends, as opposed to, you know, your usual JRPG where you'll be fighting, leveling up, experiencing an epic and compelling story. So, if you are looking for an RPG akin to the Tales of or Persona games, you're going to be very disappointed. But if you want to oogle some female characters and romance one or more of them, then this game might be right up your alley. Though I don't suggest putting the game there. That's the perfect way to end up in hospital. Trust me, I know. There are the usual awkward flirtation scenes with barely legal girls blushing more than I did when I walked in on my Aunt Clarice in the shower and she asked me to scrub her back. Again. It's not that I didn't find the little romantic interludes sweet, it's that I found them nauseating in a way I haven't felt since I ate a tub of Ben & Jerry's while watching reruns of ER. There are exceptions to all of this fan service awkwardness, of course, mostly seen in the relationship between our character, Male, and Sakura. I found their interactions very sweet. So sweet, in fact, I thought I might fall into a diabetic coma. Come to think of it, I am missing some time. I remember watching one particular interaction. Oh, must have been a lengthy one because it was Monday when I began, and it was Friday evening by the time it finished. Queer. No, Butler, I'm not talking to you. Anyway, I chose to romance Sakura in my first playthrough. Though she is far from the most attractive girl in the game, it just seemed the obvious choice. The game being called Sakura Wars and all. I imagine my marriage to Sakura will be a small affair, just friends and family. My character will deliver a rousing toast before getting sauced on the red wine, and then accidentally flirt with Sakura's aunt, who just so happens to be a lesbian, and a kickboxer. This will lead to an unexpected visit to the hospital in the early hours of the morning. Sakura will never forgive me, of course, for ruining our wedding night, and will turn to alcohol and prescription medication before throwing herself from our bedroom window just months later. Little will she know that at that exact moment she threw herself from the window, a young boy in a wheelchair was passing under the window. How tragic. Oh well, shit happens. Where was I? Was I doing a review? Oh yes. In my second playthrough, I decided to romance Clarice. And if I can just take a moment to be serious, which never happens, as I'm sure you know, dear viewer, but the character I identified the most with was Clarice. She's a writer, you see, just like me. And her character arc is basically about her accepting who she is, and ultimately how gifted she is. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. Let's get back to the jokes and the bad taste, eh? So, we've covered the story, characters, the dating sim / adventure / visual novel sections. What else can I tell you? Well, yes, you will often find characters talking to themselves out loud, monologuing, if you will, which is undeniable proof that this is indeed a video game, and that the characters are most certainly mentally ill. Music. A lot of the music in the game sounds like something out of Sonic the Bloody Hedgehog. This being a game published by Sega, I don't at all find that surprising. Gameplay. While I enjoyed running around the theater, the controls were stiffer than Kevin Spacey watching Magic Mike. When I did get to fight in the game, I found it to be loads of fun. It reminded me very much of Dynasty Warriors with its hack and slash gameplay. Yes, I did say when I got to fight. While this game does feature dungeons and boss fights, they are few and far between. This being mostly a visual novel / dating sim, that is understandable. Oh, and finally, some words about the graphics. This is your usual Tales of fare, which means the game looks great. I am a sucker. And no, that does not mean I am a vampire or whatever else that might insinuate. No, I am a sucker for hand-drawn anime-style cutscenes, and thankfully, this game has lots of them. So, in conclusion, while some of the romantic elements are a bit cringe-worthy, can I say cringe-worthy? I can? Excellent. While some of the romantic elements are a bit cringe-worthy, I grew to love every single character in the game. This is definitely a game I will play again and again, if only to see the other endings I did not unlock in my 2 playthroughs for this very review. Therefore, I am going to give Sakura Wars an 8.5 out of 10. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. My review for Sakura Wars. If you enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then, feel free to give me a thumbs down. Don't forget to hit that little like, subscribe, bell button thingy. Jump over to my Twitch channel if you are so inclined. But remember the single most important thing, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Yes.